Peggy 3.
Hi, you're watching The Boot Room. I'm Matt Cuttle. This is Darren Cross from Match Magazine, and this week we're talking defending. Now, Darren, it's not the glory part of the game, I know that, but it is essential when it comes to winning a game of FIFA 14, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely vital, and we've got some tips today that will hopefully prove useful with that.
Right, so what's your first tip when it comes to defending?
The first one's a combination of two tips really. It's about how you use contain and secondary contain. It's with contain, it's more about how not to use it, so don't contain all over the pitch and follow the ball around with one player. And don't contain when the opposition have it with their back four, because all you're going to do is pull your team shape apart, and we've talked in previous shows about how that just gives the other player opportunities.
So when should you be holding down the A button to contain?
Well, I do it just when the opposition are sort of in the middle third of the pitch and about to move into my half. That's when I'll start to sort of put a bit more pressure on the ball and think about what's happening around my team shape so I can defend effectively.
Now let's talk about secondary contain, which is done by holding down the right bumper. Now this year it seems a bit less aggressive than it was in FIFA 13, which means a player won't come and just nick the ball off an attacker. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think players perhaps are slightly less aggressive, but I think the secondary contain as a whole is still really useful, especially for sort of more advanced defending, if you like. So the way that I like to use it is to put pressure on the player with the ball by holding right bumper. That will make one of my teammates secondary contain, the player in possession, and then I'll manually control another defender and try and track the run of an opposition striker. And I find that a really effective way.
Secondary contain has another useful function though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really helps with defending against through balls. So again, you can press the player in possession by using secondary contain, and then as you track the run of the striker manually with your defender, you're in control then about your movement. So you could either step out if you're the last man and play the offside trap, or you can continue to run with the striker and then try and do things like basically be a barrier, get in the way, pull and hold. You know, you've got a lot of options then to intercept the ball and make a tackle, which you're afforded by secondary contain.
Okay, have you got any other defending tips that are really important when setting your team up?
Yeah, so there's a few things you can do if you want to sort of delve into it a little bit deeper. You can go into custom tactics and create a quick tactic, and then alter things like the pressure of your defensive line, so you can make your midfield play a little bit closer to your defence, and they just become a little bit more of a barrier. You know, they get in the way a little bit more, and that can help if you are struggling to defend generally.
There's nothing more frustrating when you get into the final third and you just encounter a wall of people that have basically parked the bus in front of the goal.
Yeah, it can be really hard to break a team down like that. As the attacking team, you just got to keep the ball moving and then hope that they step out of position. But it does give you advantages defensively if you are playing a little bit closer together like that.
Now, something I didn't know, which you enlightened me on, is you can actually use the protect the ball feature in defence as well as in attack.
Yeah, you can, and basically it just makes your player that barrier again that we keep talking about. So as you're running with the striker, if he's a bit quicker than you and you're directly in his path, if you hold the left trigger down, your player will sort of shield him, and as you see in real life, you know, again he'll have his body between the player and the ball, and all he's trying to do is slow him down and buy a second or two of time just for the goalkeeper to come and pick the ball up, or for another defender to come in and help out. It's a really useful tactic.
Can it be potentially risky?
It can, yeah. If you're not directly in line, or if the player anticipates it and changes their direction quite quickly, you can end up sort of protecting nothing and just sort of standing there while the striker runs through on goal. So it does take a lot of practice. I would recommend trying it out in a few games before you sort of really use it one-on-one for real. But yeah, it can be effective if you're good with it.
Now I've got another quick tip here which we keep coming back to, and that is of course get the shoot button to clear. We keep saying it, but it's really important, isn't it? It
is really important, and especially with you know, high balls, anything coming into the box at height, crosses, free kicks, things like that. Shoot button to get rid of them, and the difference in FIFA 14 is that the shoot button will give you all kinds of clearances, whereas in 13 you had to hold left trigger and hit the shoot button to do things like overhead kicks as a defender to get the ball away. In 14 you just need to use the shoot button and your player will automatically apply the most appropriate clearance basically.
Finally, Darren, you've got a tip for something that should be used sparingly, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that's the pull and hold feature, which again is slightly new. In 13 I think it was called push-pull. But in 14 you actually make contact with the other player and sort of try to sort of slow him down. Yeah,
grab like
yeah,
that,
exactly. Yeah,
no,
that's fine. Yeah, so that's how you do it, and it saved me loads of times, especially when a sort of striker's going through on goal. And in the game we played a while ago, I used it a few times, and it saved me from conceding basically.
Yeah, but don't overuse it because you could end up getting sent off, of course, if you're the last man.
Yeah, definitely. It's really one of those that you only save for sort of when you really need it.
Great tips as always, Darren. What are we looking at next time?
Next time we're going to stick with the defending theme and look at how to defend against corner.
Excellent. Can't wait to get my head around that one. What do you think about that?
Terrible.
It really was. Must stop those puns. Don't forget you can catch Darren Cross in Match Magazine every Tuesday. Details of their Facebook page are also down there, so do check that out. We'll see you next time on The Boot Room.